everyone. Welcome to today's episode. My name is Dr. William Lee, and with me are our panelists, Ms. Donna Thomas, who is the co-host of the show, and we have a special guest this evening with us, Ms. Pusey. Ladies, welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
We are going to be discussing a very provoking topic this evening, very intriguing, very educational. And the topic of the discussion this evening, ladies, it's the power of concentration. So let's be honest. Concentration is harder than ever. Short form of video, endless scrolling, these are rewinding how our brains respond to information. Yes, we agree? Many of us find that some things doesn't grab our attention in 30 seconds, ladies, or lest we skip ahead or switch to something else. That's not accidental. That is engineered. We have to agree on that, ladies. Yes. In fact, research shows that the average internet user attention span is approximately 8.25 seconds, which is even less than the often cited goldfish second 9 seconds, right? All right, so let's go further. So we want to get really into this subject matter this evening, and we have to admit that even ourselves, concentration span is very limited. And so tonight is a very powerful subject matter, ladies, that we're going to be talking about. But before we get further into it, I want to talk about the power. That's the topic, the power of concentration. And so, Ms. Thomas, I want to ask you, what does the word power really means? What does it mean to you when you think about power? What does it mean?
Okay, so based on our research, we have determined that power, it is the ability or capacity to act.
All right.
Whereas concentration is the act or process of directing mental energy to a single task, or the ability to resist external and internal distractions over time.
Wow, okay.
When your mind wanders, you bring it back to the task at hand. It's not about being perfect, it's about strengthening that muscle over time.
Wow. Well, we're going to be talking about focus, attention, and concentration. Of course, we often use these terms interchangeable, but they are totally different in their interpretation, in their meaning. So, Ms. Pusey, what's the difference between a focused attention and concentration from your perspective, please?
Right. So you are correct. In fact, we do use these terms interchangeably.
Oh, yes.
But there are nuances to these terms. Focus, for example, is the choice of where we place mental energy.
Okay.
It's what we decide to do.
Okay.
Unlike attention, this is a spotlight of the mind.
Yes.
And it helps your brain to pick what stimuli to process and what to ignore.
Wow. Okay.
Concentration, on the other hand, is a sustained attention over time. It's when you resist distractions and persist at a task, returning your mind when it drifts. So in other words, attention is where the mind goes, focus is choosing what to attend to, and concentration is holding that focus steadily over time.
Very good. We agree. So let's move on then. What are the core ingredients? Let's talk about the core ingredients then that helps concentration work. And what are the components and types of concentration? Ms. Thomas, what do you have to say about that?
Right. So some core ingredients include commitment, deciding ahead of time, you'll see this task through. So you're committed to a particular task.
Yes.
Interest or enthusiasm. If you care about or enjoy something, it's easier to stay focused.
That's right.
And we often hear that in our day-to-day life, the thing that you're passionate about, you will stay the course, you'll get it done.
That is correct.
Skill or confidence, knowing how to do something reduces anxiety and doubt. So for example, you get a new job, you're not sure what the tasks are, you have an idea, but you haven't started it yet.
Yes.
So the moment you step into it, you're kind of anxious because you want to do a good job, right? So you're anxious and you're kind of doubtful, am I going to be able to do it? You know you can do it, but because it's something new, that's why, right?
Very good.
Physical and emotional well-being. So rest, good nutrition, emotional health, they all matter. All of these go hand in hand.
Yes.
Talking about self-care. Alright? Mental state. If you're worried, anxious, or preoccupied, it's harder to focus. And we all know that when we're stressed,
That's right.
when we're going through different emotions, we can't focus on one thing. Our minds are all over the place.
That is correct.
So environment, a calm, controlled, boundary protected space makes concentration possible.
Very good. Very good. I want to go back and two of the points that you make, which is all of them are very intriguing. I want to talk about interest and enthusiasm. As you rightly says, if you care about or enjoy something, it's easier to stay focused. Don't you agree, Miss?
Absolutely agree.
Miss Husey? Also, I love the one you mentioned about the mental state. Yes, that's our expertise. That's our career. That's what we're involved in. If you are worried, you're anxious, preoccupied, you're going through frustration, stresses, it's harder to be able to focus. Do you agree, ladies? Very good.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about the components and types of concentration. Miss Pusey, I'm going to ask you to name a few for us. Take us there.
So we can break concentration down in parts, and this is
Come on.
especially helpful when
That's
you're
right.
looking at training. For example, selective attention,
Wow.
which is picking out relevant stimuli and ignoring distractions. There's also maintaining focus, which is staying on task over time.
Yes.
Then we have situational awareness, being aware of relevant things around you while you focus. And of course, adjusting your attention,
All right.
shifting focus as needed, but doing so intentionally.
Let's go back to one of them. And I love this. Adjusting attention. Can we just discuss that a bit? Adjusting attention, and I love what you've just shared with us. Shifting focus when needed. But doing so intentionally. Because, there's so many things to draw our attention that, attracts us. But as you said, you do it intentionally when you have to focus on one object in spite of all the distraction. So it's an act, it's a deliberate act. It's a choice that we have to make. Am I right?
Absolutely.
You agree, ladies? All right. So, Miss Donna, continue, please. Talk about the psychologists.
Psychologists also describe two dimensions of attention.
Yes.
They are broad versus narrow.
Okay.
And that's talking about how many things you're attending to at a time.
Okay.
Internal versus external. Of
Yes.
course, we know that our thoughts, our feelings versus outside influences, outside events.
Oh, yes.
The things that are happening outside that affect us. So that's when we talk about internal, internal, what's happening inside, external, what's going on in our surroundings. So that creates 4 attentional control modes.
All right.
External mode, external narrow, external broad, and internal narrow. Knowing your strengths and weaknesses in these areas can help you train concentration more effectively.
Let's stop for a moment. I need to ask both of you questions. And I don't know if you've ever done that before, but I'm sure we went to university and did psychology. So my question is, how many conversations do you think, have you ever tried, and that you can maintain and give attention to at the same time? And there's a conversation, different topics, and you're still cognitive. You'll still be able to remember and to flow with those conversations. Have you ever done that? Ms. Thomas, how many?
Yes, but I find that when I do that, I'm just listening to the person just to respond.
Yes.
I'm not understanding because I'm thinking, how am I going to react? I'm going to
Okay.
respond to this person. So I find one conversation at a time for me is better than having multiple because I'm trying to put my thoughts together. How am I going to respond to this person? How am I going to respond to this person? While you're not really thinking about what the person is saying.
All right. What do you say, Miss?
No, I absolutely agree with her. I mean, holding multiple conversations at a time, you're not fully engaged in any one of them because you're trying to be able to hear and understand what the person is saying so that you can respond. It's similar to multitasking. They're finding out now that it's less than productivity if you're not focusing on one task at a time, but rather than having multiple tasks that you're trying to do.
Right. Well, I've done research on myself, and of course, as a psychologist, I, I have gone up to five. I cannot go beyond that. I could be involved in 5 different conversations and it's still cognitive. But I hear you. At the end of the day, we have to be able to focus and prioritize. But it's a good test for you guys.
Absolutely.
we should do some tests along that line to see how far can you go. Especially when you're dealing with an audience, especially before audience and you're speaking, different ones have questions and you have to make adjustments here. It's a very good test. It's a very good test.
And also, it depends on the conversation that you're having.
Yes.
I find that if it's a light conversation, you might be, especially if it's humorous, somebody,
Yes.
giving jokes or something, you might tend to remember that more than if it's a serious conversation.
That's okay.
Right?
Perhaps
So
like in
you're trying to
social
respond
settings.
to each person. So it depends on the seriousness of the conversation. Then I think then you might be able to remember a few things, but if it's like, you laugh and say, oh, my friend said this, and you're trying to match their joke or
That's right.
It all depends.
So let's go a little bit deeper then. So why so many people struggle to concentrate today? Why? Why is such a struggle? What are some of the common causes, ladies? Or what are the biggest distraction that sabotage our ability to concentrate? Can we discuss it further? Can we go there, ladies? I'm going to ask Ms. Pusey, can you address that if you can?
I would say some of the challenges or the reasons why we are struggling to concentrate has to do with environmental and cultural distractions.
That's right.
Right now, especially in the digital age, there's digital distraction overload.
Oh, yes.
The constant pings, the constant notifications from the social media platforms, and multiple open tabs when you're working.
That's right.
So that is definitely distraction overload from a digital perspective. Then there's the instant reward mindset.
Okay.
And I'm guilty of this, of checking of Insta and TikTok. If something doesn't feel instantly engaging, I abandon it. I move on to my timestamps. I'm not
Yes.
listening to a whole video anymore. So I find that I am being affected by this as well. The multitasking illusion, I alluded to this earlier, and this is trying to switch between things, thinking we're being efficient,
Yes.
but in fact, it's really fragmented focus.
That is true.
Then there's a mental fatigue and burnout, stress, lack of sleep, and burnout all weaken concentration.
Yes.
There's also emotional and internal clutter, worries, insecurity, internal narratives that distracts, and poor environments, the noisy spaces, interruptions, and lack of boundaries. These are all environmental and cultural distractions that we face these days.
That we face on a daily basis,
Our concentration.
Again, I have to go back to the mental fatigue and burnt out because that's our field of expertise. We are psychologists dealing with stress, lack of sleep, burnt out. These things weakens concentration, and it's very important. Emotional, internal clutter, worries, insecurity, and all of these things affects the mind, how you're able to concentrate. People are always worried. People are always stressed out, especially the world that we live today. So these are some of the things that comes in as distraction, against that wars against us be able to concentrate. Let's go further on, Mrs. Thomas, rather. Talk about the medical and personal factors that weakens concentration.
So when we're talking about medical and personal factors, we're talking about things like ADHD
All right.
or attention-related disorders. We're also talking about chronic fatigue or sleep deficit, burnt out and mental exhaustion, insomnia or poor rest, low self-esteem or negative internal narrative, overuse of these devices, and constant stimulation.
Yes.
But these are all the things that cause us to be distracted,
Yes.
right? Because especially when you look at low self-esteem
Oh,
or
yes.
negative internal narrative, these are the conversations that you have with yourself, right? If you're feeling hopeless, if you're feeling worthless, you're gonna talk negative to yourself,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
If you're feeling burnt out or you're mentally exhausted, you won't be able to focus. You can't concentrate
Yes.
on anything. If you're lacking sleep and burnt out and mental
That is true.
exhaustion will cause
Of course.
fatigue and
Absolutely.
insomnia.
I have to say something, ladies, and I'm confessing. Example, just give an example, psychological illustration here. We have to give the ladies more credit than the men in terms of concentration, remembering things in detail, because men, we're more of a general thinker. Ladies are more specific. Let's say, for example, there's an accident down the corner of the street, and the gentleman comes in and he's trying to give us a description of what he saw. As for men, he would tell you he saw the ambulance, you see the police officers, you see the cars that are smashed up, and he knows there's an accident, right? And that's all he remembers as a general thinker. The ladies now will come in and they'll tell you the color of the police officer's outfit, the person that's on the ground, the outfit of the person, because they are more specific,
Detail oriented.
detail oriented. And so we always have to give ladies the credit that when it comes on to details and being able to concentrate, their expertise. Pastor Jennifer, when I get home and I'm tired, most honest with you, sometimes I'm so tired and she's talking to me and I just blacked out. I kept saying yes, yes, yes. And sometimes I said, you're not listening to me because, again, you just talked about the, right, mental fatigue, the tiredness. It affects you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And for the men, we always always want them to get to the point. Can you just get to the point? But ladies are very good in terms of this area of discussion. They are able to concentrate more. They are more detail oriented. And so we have to give them credit for that. You agree, ladies? All right, so let's go further. What are some practical things then, strategies or practical tools that we can use to help them to rebuild concentration? Let us be realistic today. What are some of the tools and strategies that we can use? Because we agreed then that it is a problem. It is a problem that needs to be dealt with within the culture today that we live in. Ms. Pusey, what do you have to say? What can you share in this area?
Well, some of the tools I think that we can all use is to be more mindful in terms of what we're
Yes.
doing. We need to
Yes.
set micro goals
Wow.
and mini sprints.
Very good.
So then we're not boiling the ocean.
That's right.
We just make sure that we break our task down
Okay.
into 5 to 10 minute increment so that we don't feel overwhelmed.
Oh, yes.
So that's
Oh,
one
yes.
tool.
Very good.
Then definitely digital discipline and boundaries.
Wow.
Turn off non-essential notifications. Turn off that Instagram notification and TikTok notification. Use app timers. You have those apps. There are apps that will
Yes.
give you timing for screen limits. And this is so important for children as well.
Oh, yes.
Designate work time blocks where the phone is out of sight. Depending on the productivity tools that you're using, some of them allow you to turn off notifications while you're working.
Can you repeat that again? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Certain productivity tools.
Did you say turn off the phone?
Yes, that's
Oh, I
one
just
of
want
them.
our friends out there to hear that one.
Yes, turn it off. Especially when you're going to bed, turn it off.
Okay.
And,
I love that one.
yes.
Turn off the phone and also the television.
Television. That
All
is
right,
true.
good. Okay. On
You-
that note, sorry to interrupt. Why do children, we live in a different culture. Well, our kids are all grown up now, but similar to these young children, everyone wants a television in their room. Why is that? You have families that are engaged in that. I believe, and I'm not being facetious here, but I believe a television should be in your living room or your family room downstairs. Your bedroom is where you go to sleep. Am I right? Maybe ladies, you might disagree. Please talk to me about this. Why do we have to, all these little ones in our home, every child needs a television in their bedroom?
So what if mom and dad wants to watch the news and the son or the daughter wants to watch a movie? How do you juggle that? Is it better for them to have their own gadget in their room where they can watch at their convenience instead of waiting for mom and dad to watch the news or the documentary.
Well, why don't you try to address that?
I see it a little differently in the sense that I think you could have a television in the central area, like
Of
a sitting
course.
room or a living room, and they can watch it there. And also, along this line as well, it's not just a television, but it's also the tablets and the
That's
phones.
right.
And they get these things very young, you know, from as soon as they're able to have certain abilities, they're giving a tablet and they take these things to bed. And these kids are so smart. The parents they will know that when their parents are coming in to see
Oh,
if they're
yes.
on their phone or tablets and hide them. And so I think we really should take all of those out of the bedroom for children
Again, we're on the
until a
subject
certain
of
age.
digital discipline.
Yes, yes.
So, and I heard Miss Thomas, what from her perspective, and I listened to Ms. Pew's from her perspective, and I still agree with the point that you're making, with both of you. But at the same time, my further question then, if we agree that our little 11-year-old and 12-year-old could have a television in the bedroom, right? We all go to bed. We have to go to bed at some point. What guarantee do we have that when we go off to bed, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, they're not up watching television?
I think some people put use of parental functionalities on these equipment, these television and the tablets, electronics. But our kids are very smart, so they know how to break those. They know how to
Oh,
break the
okay,
Wi-Fi
okay.
if you got that. So I still think it's a challenge to have it there. It's just better to remove it.
So is it okay, Miss Thomas, to allow that? Are you saying you're good with that?
Well,
Little Johnny is
for me, I've always had television in my kids' room,
okay,
and I've never had a problem giving them their own autonomy to do whatever they want. Well, within perspective, right?
okay.
But I think that they can have their own gadgets to do whatever they want. You know, I don't have a problem with that. I think that if we have one television in the living room, it's gonna create a problem, especially if it's a big family.
So what if there's no television in your home?
I've never ever not had television in my home.
Well, I have.
Never ever.
Well, why don't we allow the audience to be the judge of this argument? It's good that we have this dialogue here. But there's to me, there's pluses and minuses. There's advantages and disadvantages, especially in the culture that we are living today. And we have seen it happens, children, they go to school, the next day they're falling asleep, they're falling behind, and proper investigation is completed, is done, only to find out that they're not sleeping at night or they're going to bed late. So again, this is something deserve a discussion. I mean, we're just here to help our friends. I think too much of that is no good. Mentally, emotionally, psychologically, too much of that is no good for them.
And maybe it depends on the age of the child as well.
That's right.
Perhaps up
That's
below a
right.
certain age,
That's
none,
right.
but above that, you
That's
could
right.
consider it.
All right, that's very good. All right. So let's go on to the next one, number 3. Use methods.
Oh, right, number 3. So you could also use the Pomodoro method, work for 25 minutes, rest for 5, repeat, and gradually extend work intervals. Then there is the mindfulness training. This helps you to notice when your mind drifts and gently return it to the task. There's a single task over multitasking, and we spoke about that a
Okay.
bit earlier. Focus on one thing at a time. Every switch has a cognitive cost. And then there's a physical care and rest, sleep. And you mentioned that sleep, there's a hydration,
That's right.
movement,
That's right.
all help your brain maintain focus.
I want to go back to this one that you mentioned because I'm facing a situation. Maybe you can help me in this one. Number 3 says use methods like Pomodoro methods. Now, it says here work for 25 minutes, right? Rest for 5 minutes. That's what you just said. Repeat, gradually extending the work interval. I tell you right now, I am in my field of business. Every 2 years, I have to do 4 subjects, right? Refreshing courses, and my time is up. This is the 2 years. This month, October, before the end of October, I have to do 4 courses, and one of the courses 8 hours sitting on the computer. And I must admit, I have a problem. Maybe you guys are more prone, but I cannot sit on the computer for more than 10, 15 minutes. I have to do my work, but 2 years is up. It's like a torture. I know how to get it done. If I don't, then my license is going to be suspended until I finished. How in my situation, what advice do you give me?
So this is, in fact, is a challenging thing to do.
Of course it is.
And many persons have indicated this. Even
Okay.
working from home, sometimes persons don't even get up. They don't even get up to eat.
Wow.
And so this is an area of challenge. This will take intentional focus. You will definitely have to put your mind to it and intention on doing this. Also, you could use the help, as mentioned earlier, some apps to remind you to say, get up, stop working now, move. It's time to move. There are apps.
It takes
such as this.
discipline.
Yes, and absolutely take discipline. You are correct.
I have done it at home, and every 5, 10 minutes, I'm in the refrigerator. I have to get up, I have to go get a drink, I have to yeah.
And I think that clearly articulates the issue with concentration. Because
This is quite
it
interesting.
walks right back into
Very
that.
interesting.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's go further. I love the next one, Ms. Thomas, mindfulness training.
So,
No, this one, we're still on this one before we go on. Number 8. Okay, this is quite interesting.
so
Mindfulness training.
Mindfulness training.
Yes.
It helps you notice when your mind drifts and gently return it to the task.
Wow.
There's also single tasking over multitasking, focusing on one thing at a time. Every switch has that cognitive cost that
Yes.
Susie just mentioned.
Yes.
Of course, there's the sleep, hydration, movement, all help your brain to focus. Then we engage deeply with meaningful content like we read, write, think, create. These anchor our brain in slower rhythm.
Yes.
And of course, there's practice resisting the quick hit, deliberately delay gratification.
All right.
Don't check phone for 10 minutes, then 15 minutes, then increase the time. Because we are so addicted to our phones.
Oh, dear.
I'm telling you, doing this is a task. Just, I don't know. For me, I always used to ask my kids, what do you guys do on your phones all the time?
Okay.
Then pandemic came. We're all at home.
That's right.
Then I got addicted to my phone. So it's kind of hard.
Oh, yes.
Then when you have your phone to do everything. You do banking, you check your posts, your emails, your messages. There's so much to do. You can read your Bible on the phone. There is so much to do on the phone.
Wow.
It makes it so easy to pick it up, check your emails, check in with your family, your friends. There is so much to do on the phone. So it's so easy to get addicted to your phone.
Yes.
Some folks, they also go to bed with their phone. They actually fall asleep. Have that ever happened to you, Miss Thomas?
No.
Good.
I usually put it away.
Very good.
If I'm not sleepy, I'll go and shop or, we shop online. But if I'm
Very
sleepy, I'll put it away.
Yes.
But there are times when I'm not sleepy, when I go on a certain app and then I just have these soothing things that I watch just to calm me. Because sometimes your brain is all depending on the day that you're having, right? You might have a really busy day and it takes you a while to calm down at night.
Yes.
So I have this app on my phone. I usually go on, just scroll a bit until I start to get sleepy, then I put it away.
That's
I don't
right.
stay on it all night.
That's very good. How about you, Miss Pusey?
Well, I do have it to help me. One of the things I use it for is my alarm. So it's very close
Yes.
to me in the bedroom.
Yes.
But I'm being more intentional about turning off the notifications,
Very good.
and to get off the phone by about
So
10.
we're all disciplined folks here. All right, so let's
We're
move
trying.
on. What are the risks of neglecting our concentration? How do life suffer if we don't take concentration seriously? Ms. Pusey?
A very good question.
Very good.
So, productivity
Yes.
is one of the areas that do suffer. Without concentration, the task takes longer
Oh,
and
yes.
mistakes increases. Constant task switching creates attention residue.
Wow.
And that is your brain keeps fragments of the previous task.
Yes.
So you're never fully present in the next.
Okay.
Over time, this leads to chronic inefficiency and frustration.
That's right. That's right.
Another area is in relationships. It weakens relationships.
Yes, it does.
Distracted attention makes people feel undervalued. Kids, spouses, colleagues all notice when we're half present. Over time, distractions erodes trust and intimacy.
Wow.
Then there's a loss to peace of mind. A scattered mind fuels anxiety
Yes.
and restlessness. Lack of focus can even contribute to burnout and mental fatigue. And I think you alluded to that earlier.
Yes.
There's also missed growth opportunities. Creativity requires concentration. Ideas emerge when the mind holds steady on a thought. So therefore, stuff like meditation, studying suffers when we can't sustain attention for the long term, and long-term goals get sacrificed
Yes.
to short-term description.
That is correct. That is
distractions.
correct. So in other words, concentration is the hidden key, yeah, we agree, ladies, to productivity, creativity, and peace of mind. Concentration. That's a hidden key. If we're able to master that aspect of our lives, we'll be successful. Amen. So, ladies, let us bring it to conclusion. It's a very, very provoking topic, very inspiring. I wish we have more time to continue. I'm sure we'll pick it up later on another time. But Miss Donna, you have one of the last saying, please. Let's see if we can wrap this session up.
Again, we thank you for joining us tonight. I'm sure you got some nuggets out of our topic of concentration tonight. So once again, we ask you to watch our video, share, like our video, and of course share. We want others to gain knowledge. So share the video so that your friends, your families can be a part of this, our People Touching People forum. And of course, you can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Facebook, Spotify, and YouTube. So thank you so much for joining us, and have a wonderful day.
And Ms. Pusey, it's nice to have you as our guest tonight. Please, would like to share something with us in terms of...
Well, I just want to remind everyone that concentration is a muscle and it needs to be strengthened.
Yes.
And so we need to live intentionally so that we're able to have better mental peace and relationships.
Yes.
And it was indeed a pleasure to be a part of this panel this evening. Absolutely enjoyed it.
It is a joy
Thank
to
you
have
for
you.
having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, just want to take a moment to thank you, our dear friends, for watching, for being a part of this discussion. To remind you also, please send in your comments, your questions, your thoughts. If there's a subject matter that you would like us to discuss at a certain time, please send it forward. We'll study the matter and we'll bring it on the table to discuss it with our audience. Just to remind you that there's a ministry that is supporting us, Victory World Impact Ministry. The telephone number is 416-282-1101. They're supporting us in a multicultural church, over 32 nationalities, worldwide ministry. If you're in the Toronto area, please give them a call. Again, it's 416-282-1101, and come on over and join them one Sunday and so forth. Again, we're coming to you from People Touching People. Powerful podcast. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your input, which is very, very important. And again, Ms. Thomas, it's always a joy. Amen. We have been working together for a while. Ms. Pusey, it's always a joy to have you. Amen. And so we have other topics that we'll be discussing coming up. Praise God. And we're going to be around for quite a while. You know, we have had so many respond, Mr. Thomas, and persons. Just the last session that we did, we got a call or email all the way from London, England. And the lady was beside herself. She was just so happy that we are taking this forum into the general populace. And she's saying, you know, keep up the good work. This is what we need. And so, my friends and loved ones, this is what we are all about. These ladies are professionals. Amen. They have their degrees, university grads, you know, in their own special field of expertise. And of course, myself. And we are here for you. So please, let us hear from you. And again, thank you. Thank you for joining us this evening as we discussed this evening the power of concentration. May God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.